Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
The very fact that they are starring in this reality show is to further their brand and to achieve more success. But now, let me come down to the part. Why is it that I'm not speaking bad about them? Timestamps are down below. Now, there is one person who you have to keep in mind. His name is Andy Cohen. Now, who's Andy Cohen? He's the executive producer for Bravo's Real Housewives series. Now, he is the most important guy. These ladies have to make sure, one is the public loves them, but more importantly, this guy. Why? Because he's the god of Real Housewives. On November 1st, 2021, he announced that the Real Housewives of Dubai was set to debut on June 1st, 2022. Now, he's a guy who can make or break your career if you want to get into this reality series. Okay? He decides who stays, who goes, and who returns. He is the man whose brains, whose business ideas have made this a global phenomenon. His formula is simple. If you can stand out, if you can attract eyeballs, if you, through your drama or through your brand or whatever, can make for compelling television, he is going to keep you. Now, obviously the question which many people have been complaining, which shows an uneducated opinion, oh, these don't represent the housewives of Dubai. They are not Indian, they are not Pakistani. See, listen, this is the part which I found out, which actually surprised me. You don't have to be a housewife in order to be featured on Housewives. Now, this is, I know it's strange. I'll tell you why. In 2014, Nene Leakes, asked, maybe a reporter or someone, asked Andy Cohen, this main guy, why he started to bring more and more single women to the franchise. To which he replied, I think the Real Housewives, that series, is a bit of a wink. Why? Because housewife is an old-fashioned term. I think we are turning it over on its head because, the idea of a housewife now is a modern woman and is something totally different. Very intelligent. I know it's slightly manipulating the definition. So when they are talking of housewives, they are not necessarily bringing a mother or auntie or whatever, or, it can be a single woman who's not married, who has a child from one other man, or a single woman. She can be a potential housewife, housewife for this series. So this is why people, when they say, oh, you're not representing the real spirit of India or Pakistan or the Emiratis, it need not be that. The name is the Real Housewives, but they are looking for compelling television to make drama. Okay, so I hope that part is clear. Now, for casting. Now, if you want to be on that show, casting, it's very simple. Open casting. You can go and submit. But in order to be there, you have to be either referred by someone, or the casting agents have to recommend you, or you have to be very popular in the social circles and be a known brand. You have to have followings. You can't simply turn up. You and I can't simply turn up. Okay. Candidates have to pass through 3 stages: phone interview with the casting director, video interview, and finally a filmed home visit where they'll actually stimulate the whole filming process. Maybe they'll take a couple of cameras and dummy scenes and they will videotape to see, do you actually stand out? In some other cases, you even have to give your auditioning tape. You have to go through multiple interviews. You have to go through multiple tests. And finally, after going through all the decision makers, the final guy, Andy, has to say yes. Only then you are cast. So you need a certain degree of talent, influence, and charisma. Others you cannot. And then, even after all that, if you have something but they still don't feel you are there, you are allowed to put in your tagline, your essence, your spin on things. So it makes you stand out and appeal to them. And only after all this, you get considered, not cast. Okay. Now, imagine after all that, after you have done all that, when the contract is given to you, this is what, obviously you think that they are earning a lot of money, Here is the contracts. The housewives are paid, or these candidates are paid per season. Now, salaries range, they differ from your brand capacity. So not everyone is paid the same. The earnings, initially when it started, they were earning $7,000 Today, you can earn in the range of $40,000 to $60,000. And if you're called again, you can get paid up to $200,000. Okay. But what makes this so exciting is if you hit it big, your life and your career will change. There are some names that are given here. Vicky Gunvalson raked in 750,000. Teresa Giudice, I don't know if the name is right, $1 million. Candy Boras, 1.8 Burus, Paras, 1.8 million. And Lesa Vanderpump, she was pumping. she got in 2 million. Okay, so that's good money. That's really good money for a reality television. And apart from that, it's like once you're known, then obviously more people want to associate with you, more brands. However, when you come down on the show, that doesn't mean all of a sudden you can take advantage. You can promote your line of work, your fashion brand, or people who are sponsoring you. There is, here it says, as per their contract, there's no such thing as free publicity. Bravo, the company, makes it very clear that you cannot bring in just about any product or service or advertise anything on their TV show. In fact, they also have a clause in their contract that if you make money after their show, during their show, for a certain period of time, they get a percentage of your income. If you make especially $1 million on anything that you sell, they get 10%. Ooh, so they're very smart. Now, still you must be thinking, Loy, so what's so great? Casting and all that. Well, here comes the next part, which is very tough. Why this business is not meant for everyone. There are 4 categories that I've taken: makeup, travel, expenses, and work. Okay. Now, first is makeup. Have you seen the trailer? All of them are looking very beautiful. Their lips are looking very nice. Their skin is so, golden hair and beautiful hair and all that. Well, here's my research that shocked me at least. The code is dress to impress. Your appearance has to be perfect. Okay, no flaw. The makeup itself takes anywhere from minimum 45 minutes to up to 3 hours every single day before filming. 3 hours, let that sink in. Second one is your wardrobe, your makeup, your hair, your fashion, everything has to be perfect, and also it has to be approved by the producers. What's even more, you need to have, it's called a glam squad. Glam squad is a team of people who will be dedicated to you. Now, you might be thinking, oh, so what's the big deal? Well, here's the part that baffled my head. The studio is not going to provide this, nor the producers. You have to arrange your own people. That means you have to arrange your own team, and they have to be the best. And what makes it even more challenging is you will have 3 different looks per season. Each look, if it is approved, you have to be able to reproduce that look for the sake of continuity. That means you cannot cut your hair, you cannot change your style. If you're putting contacts, it always has to be there. If you have a particular look, it always has to be there. And what's more, you cannot have cuts and pimples and this and that. That is why, have a look at any person who appears in the news, CNN, BBC, they'll not have a single pimple or single mark on their face. Yeah, so in the same way, these people cannot have anything. It has to be perfect. And it has to be the same every single day for all the months until the season's over. So just imagine the stress and pressure. In fact, what makes it even more stressful is everywhere you go, wherever they do the shooting, that team has to be with you. So guess who's footing the bill? These people have to bear the bill. That means you have to pay your beautician, you have to pay your makeup artist, you have to pay your hairstylist, you have to get all the raw materials, you have to get every single thing ready, and you have to be ready. If the shooting is at 5 o'clock, 3 hours before. If the shooting is 8 o'clock, 3 hours. If the shooting is midnight, 1 o'clock, 3 hours before. And you can't have saggy eyes, you have to be perfect. So imagine the pressure. What's even more is the shooting that they take place, the elaborate sets, the furniture, even the curtains, the drapes, the lighting, everything has to be approved by the producers. In fact, one of them, Lesa Rina, told Bravo TV, it takes almost sometimes forever just to be perfect. They will move your house up and down. They'll turn it completely inside out. They'll turn your life upside down. So just imagine the pressure there. And, think about it. You cannot have a bad day. You have to look perfect every single day. Do you know how tough that is? You have to be at your A game. Okay. Now, if you thought that was tough enough, the next part comes travel. When travel comes, obviously, they will pay for your travel. In fact, the biggest challenge is to pay for the entire glam team. That means your entire team, you'll have to bear the expense. The number of hours. You remember I told you 45 minutes for makeup until 3 hours. These people, minus all that, they have to work 12 hours a day. That means 24/7 they are under the spotlight. The camera is following 6 days a week, sometimes even 7 days a week for 14 weeks. Can you imagine the pressure to look at your best, weight, looks, everything has to be perfect. Along with that, you have your children, the cameras are following you home, you cannot have a bad day. On top of that, this is what you have not considered. This is a reality show where you have to literally fight with each other, have drama, and there'll be so many controversies. You see people crying and shouting and fighting and throwing things at each other. I'm coming to that, okay? So you will be working 12 to 14 hours. You'll be facing that same person 12 to 14 hours. Do you imagine how disgusting it is? I cannot bear having the same person talk to me for more than a few hours. That's why even my clients, 1 hour and that's it. I don't want to see their face for the next maybe 1 week. Here you're literally seeing somebody else who has a big nose, a big ego, a big head, just like you, and you have to tolerate them. Maybe initially you'll be very polite, but after that you will just let go, and then if things spoil, they'll go back to us. And that is why sometimes when I see this big boss, as I was checking all this, big boss, big brother, whatever, I mean, you see someone shouting at each other, throwing things at each other, it goes violent. In fact, I was invited to Big Brother or Big Boss or whatever you call it in India. It's like Big Boss, I think. Yeah, they called me and they had told me, literally told me, listen, we want you to star in this and all that. And I asked, as I was talking to the producer, he said, confidential details will be told later, but we need drama. We need you to stir up some controversy. He thought the image of this rough, tough guy that I show on video is what I'm in, 24/7, what I'm in real life with my wife and everything. I said, no, that's not what. No, he said, yeah, I understand, but can you bring that out? Can you bring even extreme? So the producers are even involved in you trying to bring out the worst side of you. And this makes so compelling television. So imagine if you're with someone and you have to bring out the worst in them and you're showing your worst in you. What happens? It does affect you mentally, man. And on top of that, the candidates, they are giving call sheets every day where the times, the locations, the weather conditions all are given, informed, sometimes just on the spot so that you have to be ready. Then it comes to contracts. Everything is filmed. The crew has literally access to every area of your life. Nothing is off limits. And this is the part where people break. The private conversations, there's nothing private. All your dirty laundry can be aired. When you see this series, even the telephone, you can literally hear what the other person is saying. Why? Because it is being picked up by the microphone. All the phones have to be monitored and they will be on the speaker. So this makes it even more harder. The women have to keep a blog where they have to literally pour out their feelings, and this also can be exposed. Finally, it comes down to the drama. This is where they make money. The drama is never fake. The storylines are unpredictable and very authentic. Now, obviously, you'll say, Loy, all this fighting, all this shouting, is it all real? Well, it is real. It is not fake. But the only caveat here is sometimes the producers, they push a little bit. Like, for example, let's say, I give the example, let's say I don't like someone. They'll make sure this person who I don't like is always with me. They'll make sure that we are kept together even when my mood is bad. They'll make sure that something happens. In fact, I suspect, even though it's not written in black and white, if someone is very trustworthy, they'll tell them, listen, piss him off. Obviously, that will create for compelling drama, right? And sometimes, maybe you wouldn't have to tell me. Maybe I'm so close to a director, I'll be like, if I piss this guy off, we'll get more views. Then the producer will like me. So I'll piss them off. Like, characters like Conor McGregor, who is in UFC, who has literally millions of followers, the way he acts or the persona he creates, or like WWE, why do they bring out, like if you Google search right now, MJF, it has gone viral. Why it is viral? Because he is, people don't know whether it's real or fake, but he's pissing a lot of people off. See, this calls for compelling viewership. This is what makes things stick when something shocking and controversial is there. So in the same way, they want to push the envelope. They want to make people talk about. When you shock the world, he slapped this female. The guy slapped. Oh, people, how can he hit this female? In fact, Google search, there's this Indian guy who got slapped by this female, and it became a viral meme. How can you slap? How can you slap? This female, she is trying to portray the role of a dominatrix, and he's a contestant, and she starts using bad words, fuck you and whatever. He says, you fuck you or something. Then she slaps him. He gets angry. she never expected he actually hits her on the face. And all of a sudden, all the producers and not producers, the camera people, everyone jumped on him and started to hit him. It's an actual real life story. See, this went viral. So they are actually searching for that viral moment. Okay. So the producers can edit what you say, make you look more worse than you are. And sometimes it can result in you being embarrassed, you being looked upon unfavorably, and this can also result in public humiliation, ridicule, condemnation, and portrayal in a false light. And the worst part is, because you have signed the contract, you cannot undo this. And the biggest one of all, which I found really surprising, is you can't sue the person in court. If I was there and I knew that I signed this contract where I'm like immune to all this, oh, I would have really pushed the envelope. And this is where things get really ugly and disgusting, but it's for good television. Another thing, to add to the masala, they also allow free flowing alcohol. They give free booze as much as you want. You can drink and you can get drunk. And that is why people misbehave. And that is why in these series, you'll see throwing water, walking off, fighting, shouting, arguments. Now, a couple of do's and don'ts. One is they are not allowed to break the fourth wall. What is the fourth wall? That means you can't mention the production, you can't mention the crew, you cannot mention the production team. You only have to speak about these people, and that is your reality. That's it. You can't say the director or the producer or the cameraman and all that. You can't. You have to just stick to that part. The second one is obviously no outside brands or deals. Non-competing clause for 1 year. That means you can't star in any other competing reality show. So if you walk off, you're still bound by contract. You can't speak to the contestant beforehand. Everything that you speak has to be videotaped and has to be recorded. That means even if you have a fight, even if you say, listen, let's patch up, I don't want to show a bad image on, you can't do that privately. You do not know what is next, what the producers have in mind. You don't even know where you sit, who you're going to sit with, or where you're going to lie down. Everything they plan out. Behind the scenes, when they film in restaurants and public places, they have to take prior permission. Most of them is pre-planned in advance by the production crew. It's not like, these people just walk and, hey, can you give us a table for 3? No, this was planned out well in advance by the producers. And they normally choose a time of day where it's not very crowded, because obviously if it is too crowded, you can't control everyone. And when you do shoot, every single person who is in that restaurant has to sign a waiver form that they are allowed to be featured on this network or this reality series, and they can't claim any royalties. They can't claim, oh, this was without my permission. So you have to waive off, give the permission. Everyone's tested for COVID as per CDC guidelines, and if anyone is positive, the entire production team shuts down. Okay, so now, until now, I've given you all the good bits. Now, what is the criticism? The criticism for this, which one was the Dubai one. Okay, they were saying not every mother and sister and all that bull and crap they were saying, and this doesn't represent Housewives of Dubai. This series is not about housewives. This series is not about the women of Dubai. This series is about the rich, the famous, the glamorous, and the drama that is there. And people who like this kind of reality template, it is for them. Simply criticizing this, oh, this doesn't represent. No, I'll tell you honestly, if they created a actual Housewives of UAE, nobody would bother to watch it. You'd just get maybe 100 views. Maybe 200 views. When you consider the production, when you consider the expenses, when you consider how much of time, effort, and money goes into all this, which is millions, you have to get the returns on investment. You want to put some Indian auntie or Emirati mummy or Pakistani or Bangladeshi housewife. Who's going to see? Are you going to see? No, they want to generate revenue. So this is the first criticism which I found totally unnecessary. The second one is, a feminist leader, Gloria Steinem, what she said is, the Real Housewives franchise presents women as rich, pampered, dependent, hateful women who are fake, dressed up, full of plastic surgery, and fighting with one another. In fact, if you see other criticism, they say they are portrayed as gold diggers, they are portrayed as objects of cultural derision, well-heeled jesters who are just doing things, gimmicks for views. See, end of the day, I just tell people, look, there are different kinds of content. There's good content, there's bad content. There's funny, there is serious, there is disgusting bits, there is drama, there's soap. You choose what you want to say. See, nobody's asking you to see this. In fact, I didn't know much about it. I had to research. So nobody's forcing you to see it, right? If the only reason why people are pissed off is, one is it says it's a housewife of Dubai. So they're thinking, oh, they're talking of the housewives of Dubai. No, I'm sorry. This is a series where they show the rich and glamorous women of a particular region, and they cherry pick a few whom they know they'll get much more views. And last, if not the least, the only other criticism that was there on May 25th, 2022, 12 human rights organizations, they wrote a letter to the same Andy guy. They said, we need you to speak about the problems of UAE, misogyny, homophobia, cruelty towards people and men. And they had 4 demands. One is reveal the name, the role of UAE in this series, run a disclaimer and publicly cite human rights abuses committed by the Emirate. And the groups were Freedom Forward, Code Pink, Fair Square, and more. Who the hell gives a damn? Yeah. See, overall, in conclusion, what I want to tell you is, after all this, look, nobody's forcing you to see the Real Housewives of Dubai. Nobody's forcing you to see it. That's number one. Second thing is, this is not a documentary, or this is not a TV series that is actually showing the Islamic culture, or it's showing the actual housewives or the husbands or the families of UAE. No, this is a soap opera. This is more like a reality series for cheap views, for people who like gossip, who like drama, who like nonsense. Now, having said that, these women who are being shown there, they are putting on an act of an extension of their personality. Maybe they are not that bitchy. Maybe they are moody. Maybe they are they have a bad temper. So the producers and the people of the show are wanting that element of it to come out, which will put some drama and masala, and they'll make for compelling viewing. Like when we see, when you Google search, actual fight takes place in an interview, or Big Brother contestants or Big Boss contestants literally go to blows. This is not what we expect, especially, celebrities to do. Like, they actually fight with each other. But we like to see it. When people, like Mike Tyson, when he was sitting in the aircraft, he suddenly lost his cool and started punching the, it became a viral moment. So everyone who watches this is hoping for something like that shocking to come out. With these women who are beautiful, who maintain themselves, who are brands by themselves, they are chosen so that they get a better viewership. Now, having said that, I feel these women, I don't know why anyone should hate them or why anyone should dislike them. Maybe they are not your type. But at the end of the day, let me tell you, what these women have achieved is far greater than what you and I would ever achieve, what you and I would ever dream of doing. So let's give credit where credit is due. Agreed, they are not our type. Their lifestyle is not our type. The way they portray themselves is not our type. But at the end of the day, live and let live, right? Just as you wouldn't like anyone talking about you. Hey, you look like people tell me, you look so ugly, they tell me. Or they tell me, hey, go get yourself a real job. Yeah, why don't you mind your own business? In the same way, if I tell you, you're just a cheap shit, you're earning a pathetic salary, having a miserable job, your wife looks ugly, your parents look old, okay, you'll be like, who the hell asked you? Correct, right? The same way, why don't you mind your own business? Don't watch it if you don't want to watch it. If you want to watch it, enjoy the drama. So I hope this gave you insight into the Real Housewives of Dubai. Did a lot of research. I hope this not just entertains you, but educates you about this whole process. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I put the timestamps, and I look forward to hearing from you. Having said that, thank you very much for letting me know Real Housewives of Dubai, something like that exists. And if you're watching it, do let me know which are the spicy bits and send me the link, because I don't have the patience to watch the whole thing. Having said that, it's me signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.